It's a Mod8, continuing with the Vimutti Magga. We're on to the index of chapter 3, chapter 3, on austerities, like hardship, deliberate hardship practices. So the last one would be regular alms round, and then one eating, so determined to only take one meal of the morning. Another one is measured food, so you might have a certain finger depth of food, and you won't take anything after that. Then no food after time. I'm not sure exactly what that one is, but these are all ones that are, clarified more on the details in the chapter. Dwelling in a peaceful place, which doesn't sound too bad, but it might be like it's got a few here. Another one is dwelling under a tree. So dwelling in a peaceful place means like not in a monastery in the city. So you deliberately head out to go to a remote cottage in the forest and so on. Which would be surprising, it sounds nice, but often that's just not what you get hundreds of monks in temples in the city. So. Dwelling under a tree, so not even under a roof, not within walls. And dwelling under a tree, a lot of ants. Straight away. It's the biggest problem of that.
You tried it?
Yeah.
How long?
I don't know, I've done it for different periods of time, but not that long. I know people who've done, but...
Half a day.
Yeah, half an hour.
Until the first ant... Oh, okay, that's enough.
Snakes tend to like going up and down trees. Depends where you are as well. Some trees are better than others. It's that determination thing. You have to really want to do this, or have a high level, like the Buddha boy in Nepal. You seen Buddha boy in Nepal?
Who doesn't eat at all, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think it's actually fed on. It's possible.
Ooh, you're accusing him. Be careful. You're disappearing to a frog, and don't make false accusations against Rinpoche. I don't think so. I think he just went into a hibernation state, like a coma, deliberately or through meditation, personally. So monks, good monks, highly developed adepts, rarely highly developed monks can do 7-day cessation of consciousness, during which time there's no digestion at all. And if he knew how to do that on a loop, one after another, then that would be alright. It's like a coma kind of thing. Coma vigilante, they call it. Nirodha. So yeah, dwelling under a tree, dwelling in a dewy place, very wet grass, dwelling among graves. And then always sitting and not lying down. Just basically not sleeping on the lying position, like always sitting down. And then expedience in the observance of the austerities. That's just doing those very thoroughly. So that's that, and then miscellaneous teachings at the end of it. So that's all about that. The do-tangas know how to do it. Very, very tough. So it's like finding the middle way, or making it harder because you think that things are going too soft, and it's going to make it better by going in that kind of way. My Ajahn Tom, he frequently. I used to have a job. I used to help supervise a meditation course where at the end of it, yogis and meditators didn't sleep for 3 nights. It was kind of the culmination of 26 days of meditation where they went to sleep for the 3 nights. They just keep walking and sitting. And my job was to go and check on them, like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And oh yeah, you're right. How you going? How do you feel? Great. It's good, isn't it? They was really surprised. They feel really bright and refreshed, and sort of all that. And just make sure they're okay. But I used to notice when I look up at my abbot's window, he'd just be standing there, and he stayed most of the night. It's kind of like well known for this. So he had a kind of practice like that. But he had legs like elephants, it was like tree trunks. Even though his feet were just like it's like blocks. But yeah, just standing meditation. Same kind of thing, rising, falling, and sweeping and touching points and everything, just on the standing position. And it would be quite often like there'd be a big public meeting and they'd be like sort of nodding off and napping and blacking out and all that sort of during those things. Chapter 4 on distinguishing concentration. So again, this fivefold meaning of concentration, the salient characteristics, etc., benefits by concentration, obstacles to concentration, causes of concentration, requisites of concentration, kinds of concentration, there's various kinds, and why 4 and 5 meditations are taught. So the different kinds of one. And that's good to know. So like different times you need or might wish to have various kinds of meditation, and it's good to have a sort of range and have a logic for why you want one at a different time, or how to do that to get better. So chapter 5 on approaching a good friend, and this is the name I think for a teacher he's using there. Kalyanimitta is a spiritual friend. But I'm going to Kalyanimitta to you guys like that, so and you are to me. That's the sort of quality. So you don't necessarily have to call someone a teacher as a teacher. Because sort of that reminds people of school too much. Qualities of a good friend. So then you can check off and go, no, he's not really a good friend. So. The search for a good friend. A beginner's duties. So search for a good friend is like looking for a teacher and how to recognise one or not, and so on. And then a beginner, sakia, a beginner is someone in training. There are various obligations and duties to do, like that. It's just respect based. Chapter 6, the distinguishing of behaviour. This is also very good. I was saying this to Robin, which was like, you read this, and it's often quite different. Often nowadays, people will sort of book themselves into a sort of 10-day meditation retreat. Never met a teacher or anything to do with the teacher or anything like that. And they'll just book in, and there'll be a block of sort of 50 people or 55 people who are all booked in to do this sort of thing. This is very different. It's where you sort of search someone out, and you sort of like check them out and see they're getting on, and then get a meditation object from them, and then try and then live nearby, practicing on yourself, and then like a week later go and sort of discuss it with them, then go back away for a week. And it's kind of assumed that you're going to, and then you sort of like look for a quiet place, they might be able to rent a cottage somewhere where it's very, very, a lot of forest or something, and it's quiet, or, this is sort of like good to look at this, how to do it, manual. Yeah, and it might be obvious, I know, I live in a place, and then like, don't stop the karaoke upstairs, or you might be just in the wrong place, and it sort of points these things out really obvious. You might be living in a monastery, but there's no sort of construction. It's going this, according to this, it's not the right place. I'll sort it out. And all the monks go, where are you going? We need you to mix the cement. And so it's good to get the advice straight from the horse's mouth. This is an arahant, really. So chapter 6, the distinguishing of behaviour, kinds of behaviour. This is. I was reading about this. This is a slightly controversial chapter. This isn't in the Vimutti Magga, as far as I'm aware. Because it's like kinds of behaviour, and this will more or less probably be rooted in anger behaviour, desire behaviour, delusion behaviour. Tends to be like this. And then it has the 14 kinds of persons. And this is a slightly controversial one. It's been dropped out of various other things because it's sort of typecasting people. And it's a little bit questionable. As far as I remember, it's like, there's the deluded type of person. How do you know them? They walk up on their toes when they walk, their heels don't touch the ground, or something like this. It's quite a little bit questionable. 14 kinds reduced to 7. So it's kind of 7 main hindrances, the lazy type, the doubtful, the fat type who's doubtful, full of doubts, the lustful type. How do you recognise them? By the way they walk, or the way they talk, or the colour of their face, or something. It's something like that. And so it's not as good as some other typologies of people that I've seen. 7 reduced to 3. So this will be the greed, hatred, and delusion. So they embellish them a bit more. Causes of behaviour, elements as causes of behaviour. So this is even more questionable. I remember getting to this and then going, because Because it's like the elements as causes of behaviour, it's like the earthy type of person, the fiery type of person, the watery type of person, airy type of person. That's not too bad, it's a bit like astrology. But then it's got this one, it's got the humours as causes of behaviour. This starts to sound like medieval astrology in England. You know, the humours is like you've got, in your heart, you've got black liquids, and you've got green liquids, and you've got red liquids, you've got yellow liquids going through the heart, which the psychic one with the sort of crystal can see or something. It's a bit like that. So this is, like I say, this is a bit of a questionable chapter, but it's worth looking at to see what they thought of that in those times. They've got something similar in the Vimutti Magga as this, a little bit similar. 7 aspects of behaviour. And then on robing, begging, sitting, sleeping, and resorts. So it's about the way you robe. So you robe,
Spas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Club Med. Yeah, Club 83. So they got on begging. That means going with the bowl. And then on sitting, on sleeping, and where you stay. So actually, it is talking about the suitable types of place, whether it's a cave or a house or a cottage or under a tree, or good places to stay. It's worth looking at. And then miscellaneous teachings; those are always good fun. The little extra bits they tag on the end. Then this is an important one. We cover across this a lot, so you can see where it sources from. Chapter 7, the distinguishing of the subjects of meditation. So we've just done some of this, which is the 38 subjects of meditation. So the first 10 are the kasinas, for example. Basically the first 8 and the other 2 are another kind of kasina. And then 10 types of corpse.
What?
Yeah, it's like, if you see a freshly hit corpse, like someone who's just banged their head on a windscreen and they just died, it's a shock. It makes you up to the preciousness of life, the brevity of life. And the idea behind this is, one, to wake you up to the brevity of life, the preciousness of life. These 2 things. And then a corpse like that gradually becomes a skeleton with no flesh on it at all. And so all the types of corpses are the ones in between that. Bearing in mind, some of these places they said go and meditate were a graveyard. So people are terrified of death, terrified of ghosts, terrified of seeing dead bodies, and zombies, and maggots, and the way that they bloat up and the putrefy. Or in those places, frequently when I've stayed or crossed through graveyards, there are packs of dogs there. It's the usual. You get a village and people keep a dog on a string or they're around, but then you get wild dogs and you get wild coyotes and wild wolves and all that sort of thing. But often packs of wild dogs around them. And they, in India in those times, often a corpse, once it was being done and the ceremonies were done, they were just left there. And crows and birds and the dogs would nibble and gnaw at them, and rats and so on. Or if people are cleaning up after a tsunami, body bagging and so on, they might get something washed up on the beach and it's been gnawed by things. So this is another type as well. So these are 10 types, and this is particularly for people who are addicted to beauty, movie star beauty and glamorousness, and they don't turn their mind to this side of physical, human, corporeal existence, which is the unpleasant side, asubha, unpleasant side. So when they deliberately do it wakes them up to their vanity and superficiality and superficial pleasure. And for people who are troubled by lust, and many people every 2 hours they get overcome with lust, or they can't go into a work or a place without getting fascinated, or like on people's forms, and so like that they can get. And it's a big bothersome thing that people never talk about. So when they have reference for this, the unpleasantness of the internal body, or unpleasantness by recollection of corpses, they might see someone who's absolutely divinely glamorous, but think, but you're going to rot and end up as a skeleton, or underneath that golden skin there's just bone under there, or there's this teeth that in the morning has stinky cream in the tongue, or anything like that, tends to unhinge. The mind glues to objects with lust. So you need a way to un-velcro the mind. You go, oh yeah, when you think about it like that, yeah, I could let go. It doesn't matter. But it's the obsession of the gluing by lust to object, fascination. Like 3 hours of porn. Right? It's because the mind velcros the object like that, doesn't let go. So to switch your mind off, go look at some horrible photos of drowned bodies. It let go, and once you do that, the mind releases from lust, and then the passion goes down and down and down and down and down till it's gone. If the person takes the mindfulness to recognize and intend and change the intention and do it. But that's also for people with high commitment and level, like monastics.
We're not doing corpse meditation, are we?
Not today, no.
Yeah.
We'll keep it in the freezer.
That session.
Not many people can stomach it, but it's very powerful when people feel the need. And like if you commit to lifetime celibacy or long-term celibacy, things like this are very useful. Not for everyone. And then I won't do the list all of the 38 because that's what's going to be the content of it, but it's things like that. Method of discerning the qualities, I don't know what that means, by way of meditation, by way of transcending, by way of increasing. Oh yes, yeah. So it's like, by way of cause, by way of object, by way of speciality, by way of plane, by way of seizing, and by way of person. So what's that all about? So the 38 subjects of meditation. If you want to increase concentration by way of the meditation, you choose the certain type of meditation to do it, and you'll get the mind state. By way of transcending, so for example, if you want to transcend lust, you'd choose the right form of meditation, you'd transcend it through that way, if you wish to. By way of increasing, this is deliberately like counting by numbers, for example, you increase, you say, alright, we're going to count up to 500 breaths, or something, or we're going to keep the kasina, earth 1, earth 2, up 3, up to 100. You'd be increasing the numbers, so you increase the concentration. By way of cause, by way of object. So it's looking at and understanding the root cause of a mind state or of an effect to happen. By way of the object. So if you stare at certain things, food, you stare at the food, the object's going to cause you to have an effect. If you let go of it and you stare at something else, unpleasant, you've changed the object deliberately. So the actual object, it can be a cause. All about cause and effect. By way of plane, this is to do with the 31 planes of existence. So if you aim to get first jhana through concentration on a kasina, second jhana, these are refined states of mind. Gradually getting more and more refined states of mind. Okay, so let's move on. Chapter 8. This is about entrance into the subject of meditation. So this is something where we do get gradually more absorbed. You can sort of consider it like you're doing. So I don't know, I'm not sure about solitary stuff, but there you go. Oh right, yeah, I'm into it. You start to get the neighbourhood concentration. Start to approach with more commitment, with more understanding, with better experience that encourages you to get gradually, sort of deeper into it. So entrance into the subject of meditation. Earth kasina, we've just been doing this paper, like saying the papery quality of it, feeling like there's something really there. It's actually, you can start to see the colour, can maintain it for a second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 minute, or whatever you manage to be able to do. Earth kasina, its practice, we'll discuss it, its salient characteristics, what are the characteristics of it, its function, what's it for, and how do you make it happen, what's its near cause. Well, next, benefits of using the earth kasina. So you just experienced it a little bit, we'll talk about it. The meaning of kasina, kinds of earth, because actually in this case there had no photos, no laptops, no way of getting other than actually creating the thing. So then actually also create a physical disc out of clay and then bake it in the sun and what type of earth and clay and what to do with it, and prop it up against a tree, and then you stare at it for a long time, and then you close your eyes and then hold the thing around it, walk around, be able to see it with your eyes closed like this. So kinds of earth, and then non-prepared earth, and then this is also like to do with We're using a casino which is bound. It's got form. There's also boundless. If you just go to a lake and you take in the whole lake, all and you consider, and you're just able to apply your mind, and you're in love with the place enough, you're fascinated, beautiful. It's like you pick just the right place, just the right time of year. The weather's perfect. This is great. You feel so calm in it. Yeah, and just the presence of the water and your attention to it is an unbound water casino. You can do it with an unbound earth. You go to a terrain and it just overpowers, awe-inspiring. You get goosebumps just being there. You pick the right place. This is unbound. Or it can be someone ploughing or fire. Unbound. But bound is where you conceptually make it and you give it a limit like that. Dimensional limit. So non-prepared earth. On making a mandala. It's a disc. So mandala, the word mandala means a disc. It doesn't mean the mandala painted. It means a disc like this. The word mandala means all the way round. It's worth knowing that as well. It's like when we do the visualization of the horizon all around. That's also mandala. It's used a lot. When in our rules, we're supposed to keep the bottom of our robes even all the way around, like a circle like that around us, like that. The word is parimandala. All the way around.
What's the reason for that?
Tidiness. If you don't, they'll go crooked. This way and that way. If you get a load of monks walking in a line and they're following that rule, they look neat. If they don't, they'll look a mess. Yeah? So tidiness is quite important. If you see a really okay. Or making a mandala. Method of earth casino meditation. So now you've got your disc of mandala, of earth. You prop it up and look at it. Method of earth casino meditation. The tribulations of sense desires illustrated in 20 similes. So this is the thing, when you get your mandala and you concentrate on it and with this guided meditation or not, and then you go and you go, it's so sweet, it's so simple, it's so nice, why isn't life always like this? And then you reflect on how much trouble you have, the bothersome mind. You can wake up in the morning and be grumpy until you do your meditation, and then your meditation goes clear and you get nice, and you look back at all of the way your mind has been bothering and criticising and getting grumpy about the toothpaste and the ant in the sink and the shoes and anything, and then you do a meditation and you look back at it, the mind is troublesome. The normal mind bouncing around off of objects and taking something is very, very tribulated, and that's by sense desires, just by seeing something and don't want it and liking it and really wanted something, and then yesterday and tomorrow and all the samsaric kind of bouncing around. So it's 20 similes illustrating about that, because it's thinking and all that bouncing around compared to calm and having a nice concentrated object. If only we could stay with it for as long as we possibly could, we would be much happier. Then, presumably because the lifestyle is all about that, renunciation and its benefits, which is like people in the worldly life, they almost can't escape from bouncing around and all the things that have to be done and all the things that have to be done. So it's looking at the benefit of a life, which is firstly, it's the benefit of being able to obtain that kind of concentration, and then secondly, how great is a life which is supporting it for as much as possible. Happiness. Then, method of practice of Earth Kasina, and then 3 ways of sign taking. So this is when we manage to get the mind to settle down and leave all of the bothersome thinking alone, the future, the past, and the who am I, and who was I, and who will I be, and all the rest of it. And we get a clear, high definition, still, focused, clear, stays there. And now we know that the mind has gone clear and very well. This is called sign taking. It starts to appear clear. It's like the difference between VHS or fuzzy old tapes that have been played 20 times and digital high definition. It goes very, very clear. And then grasping the sign, the mind stays with it instead of like going, I still want to think about what I was thinking about, my plans and my future and my everything. And then but it stays with it And then the after image is a super clear one, super clear version that stays. And this is the clear one. It means that the state of mind has gone very clear. It's gone very, very especially clear, especially unbothered. And it's also let go of bothering with all of the bothers. So that's called the sign, the nimitta. It's just a very, very clear version of the kasina. Protecting the sign. So if you do get very, very clear, even if someone goes, quick, come have a look at this, you're not even bothered whatsoever, because this is so much better than bothering with bothers. Like, someone says, come on, get you won't even bother, because this is much more valuable and we need to guard and protect it. And then this is the sign that access meditation has happened. And then fixation means you can hold it, and this is in the realm of jhana, absorption. Next, increasing the kasina. So basically, if the circumference of the kasina is this, then what happens is, by very, very careful planning and deliberately doing it, increase in size. And make it bigger. And stop. And then make it smaller. So that without losing it, you don't go, ooh, it's all gone. The whole thing's different, you've got to start all over again. Yeah? Is that they talk about just increasing it by inches or 1 inch. You just make it inflated a little bit and then reduced. And then a little bit more and then reduced. So mental exercises of concentration, keeping it suspended in mind and increasing it. So the effect of this is also, so for example, if you were sort of suspended in space around the moon, you're staring at the thing and it's beautiful, but then if you were to zoom in and go closer, it's the same effect. So you're basically got willpower making the thing come closer to you and making it go away. So in a way it's making it just go bigger, but in another way the effect is the perspective that you're going closer and you're going away. So this is increasing the kasina. And then skillfulness in fixed meditation jhana. So this is just getting skill, being able to make it happen. 10 ways. And then simile of the horse chariot, simile of the inked string. You've got a piece of ink string, and you slap it and it leaves a black line. The first meditation jhana. So that's the deep, first, significant phase when apply some thinking and intention is still there, but it means you're on the right track. Then there are 3 kinds of separation from lust and demeritorious states. So whenever the mind is wanting and not wanting and not wanting, it's something like, say everything that you're looking at now is on a mirror, and it's crystal clear as it is, like you're looking at, just like with glass. But with a mirror, if you pulled it, another place would go wonky, like those mirrors in fair, circus, whatever. You pull them and you push. If you pull on one part, another place will go wonky. Similarly, if you push on another part will go wonky. These are like lust and liking and not liking, liking and not liking. Same thing. When that stops, the whole thing goes flat and clear and distorted. That's what I'm trying to look for. So this is the state of... It's as if we have another simile is 360-degree everything, and you have a perfectly spherical mirror in the middle, and it's always been distorted and shattered and pushed and pulled, because internally, inside that sphere, it's pushing and pulling and pulling and pushing, and therefore distorting it. And now by stopping the pushing and the pulling, by keeping this central simple object, it returns back to its undistorted state. That's a simile. 2 kinds of lust. Roots of merit, demerit. Reasons for treating lust and demerit separately. Separation from demeritorious states. The difference between lust and demerit. Initial and sustained application of thoughts. So initial is also when we're doing the counting and you're keeping that object that you've made in mind. That's the initial thought. And then sustained is when you don't have to count anymore. The mind just hovers with the object with fascination about it. But it doesn't take this go, numbering, push. It doesn't take that. It just stays fascinated with the object. And that's sustained application of thought. Initial and sustained application of thought discriminated. It's just talking about the difference between them. The similes of the bell. So how do you separate out the metal from the sound? You can't. The two things are like that. So this is like the mind when it's struck with the object and its fascination and it hovers like that. The simile of the bird, etc. It's like hovering over a flower, like they call it a little hummingbird. Solitude, which is withdrawal of this, internal, so you get very self-contained. Joy and bliss, these are the results of sustained attention. Joy comes up. Joy is quite fizzy. It's like buzzy, goosebumpy, and bliss is a more refined state. So if you attain joy, you feel great. But if you then have a sudden taste of bliss, it's even better. It's even better. It's even better. Like this. And so there are 5 kinds of joy. And it's like if you get the thing, you go, wow, it's all right. This is what they talked about in the book. It's happening to me. You get a buzz, a boost of this, but then you realise that the thinking's still there, and if the thinking stops and you still carry on with it, bliss starts to rise, and you realise that's even better. You go, I don't want that joy anymore, this is even better. Something like this. So there's 5 kinds of joy. They're rougher and smoother, different states. And then bliss, and then 5 kinds of bliss, even finer and finer. These are like the 31 planes. The difference between joy and bliss. Then the first meditation jhana, the 5 hindrances, wanting, not wanting, apathy and depression and restlessness, and then doubts. These are the 5 hindrances and how to tackle them. 5 factors. These are kind of powers which help you to be able to practice. If these are the 5 jhanic factors, then they are applied thinking, sustained thinking, joy, happiness and equanimity. So these are ways to tell to what degree the jhana has developed. Then similes of chariot and army. 3 kinds of goodness, 10 characteristics, 25 benefits. This is really because you need to have reason to sort of take time out and doing this, but you see the benefits, you get inspired. It's like going into a business. You say, I'm going to invest a lot in this, but what am I going to get out of it? Show me. So when you just think about it, so you start to see give you more enthusiasm. Simile of the bath attendant. This is to do with the saturation effect that you get of bliss. That it totally permeates the body. It's like an all bliss, an all-encompassing bliss. But the simile is to do with soap. When you soak soap in water, it froths up to lather like that. 3 kinds of rebirth. So this actually has future after effects. And then meditation of various kinds. One which partakes with deterioration. You get it and the mind falls apart. You get it and it falls apart. So it's deterioration. Second is stability, where it manages to be anchored on the 4 points and stay there with some stability. The second with distinction, has a certain powerful quality. And fourthly, with penetration, it means that not only can you sustain and maintain the sphere or the object, but you can actually enter into it as if you could, it's like a hot air balloon that you actually enter inside. And you go with inside and stay there, and then go out again with control. So you've got that amount of control over your concentration. Good, how are we doing? Is there any questions so far? Anything else? Are you happy to go through that? Chapter 8, there's a few similes. The simile of the young cow. So this is to do with the way that the mind, when it sees a jhanic object, it goes fascinated by it. It goes in love with the object actually, because it's like, this is so good. Look at all this. I feel wonderful. And they give the simile of the teat of the mother's milk with the young cows. They suck on it like this. It's like the mind when it gets a jhanic effect, it stays like that. It goes wow. It glues to it, or in there, there's a simile of a leech, like it goes like this. Yes. This is also for when people haven't developed strong vipassana. So often the sort of young, new adept mind, if it does jhana, it goes, like glues to it like anything, is like fascinated, but it hasn't got much mindfulness yet. But it still gets like this. It's like teenagers falling in love, you know, like, they're just like that. They're like, oh, he's amazing, he's amazing, he's amazing, he's amazing, like this, what they're like. They've got very little wisdom going on yet. So then the simile of the lotus pond, you get like lotuses coming out of the mud, and they rise to different heights. The fourth meditation, jhana. Fourth meditation is equanimity. It doesn't have this kind of blissing out effect like that. It's more mature, it's more calm, it's more stable. It has equanimity. It will stay in the centre of its sphere without being bothered by anything. Similarly, of the white cloth, that's to do with impurities. The sphere of infinity of space. So this begins with one where we remove the object. Until now, you've had this object that's kind of like your wow object, and everything has been all about this. And then, lo and behold, when you get to this stage, you remove it totally, and it's like, what else is there? And then you put the attention to the outside, and that becomes your object of attention. So it's not concentric, it's eccentric in a way. It's like going out and maintaining the great sphere rather than the minor sphere like that. That's called the sphere of the infinity of space. When you take away the actual model, the objects that we're around, and just concentrate on perspective itself. And then concentration on the sphere of infinite consciousness. So that's the consciousness that was taking that concept as its object. You contemplate that. And then the sphere of nothingness, which is a weird one, which is just a very, 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 very refined form of perception. And the sphere of neither perception nor non-perception. Nothing really matters, basically. You just move through and all things are just seen as objects. They're not seen as real. Whereas normally, for everything, our mind goes out and everything is real. But in that state of mind, nothing's really real. Nothing, so therefore nothing really matters. So it wouldn't matter if a truck came at you and splattered you. It would just be an object, and you'd be reborn in the sphere of Brahma realm for a long, long time, and then have to come back and do it all again. But it wouldn't be very good karma for the person in the truck. So miscellaneous teachings, and then because it's all of that has been related to the earth casino. So this is a good thing. I've been teaching you how to go through them all and back down again. Sometimes we do them in reverse order as well, which is good to do with people like Pat Ork, the main sort of casino teacher nowadays, apart from me. Pat Ork. No, he's a very, very. That was just a joke comment. But he's a very, very famous teacher with thousands of people following him in Burma. But for example, they number the casinos like earth, fire, water, air, and then the colours 1 to 8. So then they go, okay, let's do number 1, let's do number 2, let's do number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 7, number 6, number 5, number 4. Go up and down them like that, hundreds of times, thousands of times, going up and down them. And then they teach you to skip over them like this as well. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 2, like that. So you do them like that.
How do you spell his name?
P-A-A-U-K, Pauk. Yeah, he's a very, very senior Burmese teacher. So all of that was basically relating to the earth casino. So this is what I was trying to say. We've been going up and down the casinos, but you could only stay with the earth casino. And then, so the object is the object. Even if you say, if I said, go, we'll go on a light casino. Okay, it's like number 8 or number 9. Or number 9, the way that we do it. You still might struggle to get even first jhana on that one. But there's a way of aligning them to each jhana. So you only use the earth casino for first jhana, and then you use the water casino for second jhana. So there's a way of coding the mind to certain states of mind so that you could enter, if you get really good at it. And on third jhana, so you go to fire casino, and the mind will go up to it. There's a way of coding the mind so it knows precisely which state of mind goes with which object, and getting it to associate with it so that it is able to do it. So that's the way that they teach to practice to do that. So the other thing I was going to say was, you could stay with only Earth Kasina, and you could go first jhana, work harder, get it just to hover and so on, keep it with it, or bliss and that. Second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, fifth jhana, only staying with the Earth Kasina, not going up into the colours and up into the light and space around. You could do them all up until you have to get to the point of then removing the Earth Kasina and just staying with the Earth all around. Right. All talk. Water Kasina, the fire Kasina, the air Kasina, and then they have this order: the blue-green Kasina. You find this a lot, but they do this one. The blue-green Kasina, the yellow Kasina, the red Kasina, the white Kasina, the light Kasina. So that sequence of colours, they often do that. I prefer to do it as the rainbow. And then chapter 8, section 3. The separated space Kasina. So this is the one where you remove the Kasina itself and just contemplate space around. And then the consciousness Kasina. This is when we've even stopped considering the horizon, and you just contemplate consciousness arising, awareness of seeing, awareness of hearing, awareness of the body, awareness of the mind. So it's the awareness of that is the whole object, the miscellaneous teachings. So now it's going through so it's basically gone through the first 10 of the samatha meditations, the calming meditation. So now it's going to go through the next 10, which I outlined before. The 10 perceptions of putridness. One is the perception of bloatedness. You come across a corpse and it's bloated up, or you can see the gut and the tubes are bloated up. 2, the perception of discoloration. It starts to go purple, starts to go green, blue colours, brown. 3, perception of festering. 4, perception of fissured. It starts to go wrinkly. 5, perception of gnawed, means the rats have been around. 6, the perception of dismembered. Usually because of the dogs have come up and have bitten pieces away and pulled it around. And there's 7, the perception of the cut and dismembered. So you might find a body that's been attacked. 8, perception of the blood-stained. There's a kind of perception of worminess. Perception of the bone. Worminess is maggots coming out. Like. Got photos of this?
No.
Perception of the bony. Well, it gets you over the fear. If you recognise the terror and the repulsion, and it gets you over. It gets you through that. Not easy. Robin was saying he's been in anatomy lessons or something in hospitals.
Yeah, the doctor. I was planning to be a doctor, so we had the first course is anatomy, and you have to open up corpses.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
No, that's why I didn't.
I have that too.
Yeah, training.
Oh no, I thought I wanted to be a doctor.
Until that stage.
Didn't make it.
It's like, face it anyway, I went into drawing. Now I feel deep down I'd like to have done, doctor training or something like that. But you find yourself, if you just do arts, you're kind of on the surface. It's all about beauty and surface appearances and everything. But how do you get deeper, how do you get deeper into things? Okay? So that's the 10 perceptions of putridness. But often people will go away and they'll do jhana, they come out bliss, walking on air, and they would request an audience with the Buddha, to Ananda, to his personal assistant. And the message would come back from the Buddha, say, go to the cemetery, spend 2 days there and come back, and then tell me if you still want to see me. Because they'll think they're enlightened and stuff, but they'll go and see these and go, oh God, they feel like really rough and vomiting, or feel bad. They realise that they're not at all, and they just come crashing down. They're still afraid of death and still repulsed and so on. Yeah, miscellaneous teachings, and then these are continuing on with the various other meditations, because those are all meditations to recollect on those things. One is the recollection of the Buddha. So we did a little bit of that, learning that the power of the Buddha, some of these enormous powers that he had, and teaching qualities as well. Like that he's unique, very, very skilled, uniquely, incomparably skilled, I would say. And then recollection of the law, so the Dhamma teaching and the existence of this spiritual law as well. It's just that in itself, because sometimes we just forget about it, we get small-minded thinking. Then the recollection of the community of bhikkhus. If you recall some of these enormously virtuous and powerful beings and people, it inspires and can give a sense of inspiration and protection. The recollection of one's own virtue. We talk about this at Still Point, but it's like just to recall two things, that you did that were good as well. Or the next one is also recollection of liberality, means generosity, chaga. So if you just recall two good things that you did, that someone's car broke down and you made sandwiches and lemonade and took it out because it was like a baking hot day and people were, really, really appreciative. Little things like this. This is what it is too. If you recall little things like that, the context it was given in the talk, Jack Cornfield summed up, was like when people on their deathbed, they look back at their life, and they're looking like, what did I do of value? Often it's not, did I get the degree? What was in the bank? What property did I get? Or which cars? That sort of thing. It is often these little things that remind us, that touched me. I thought that was really cool. I think, that worked. It touched the button for me, and I recall and feel good about it. I don't feel arrogant. I don't feel proud. I just feel, like I stopped doing what I took time out and I went and helped out there, and it really. I'm really pleased that I did. Really pleased I did it. Not in a vain way. Just these kind of recollections. It prevents the erosion of doubt and self-criticism, that kind of inner perfection that can never be reached, but just supports well-being. Next is recollection of deities. Right now, under observation, living separate deities, not archetypes, not projections of our ego, nothing else. It's separately, each of us, like here, 4 different entities, 4 different streams of consciousness. So if it dies, someone can be reborn in a heavenly realm, unseen. They can also psychically observe in what's going on, and they often spend a lot of time just concerned about people and guiding and shielding and advising and linking people, and you get very high powerful beings that will protect a territory, like a country, and so on. So the recollection of deities is very, very uplifting. It can support us. And then continuing, chapter 8, section 4, the mindfulness of respiration. So this is anapanasati. And then the benefits of it, the procedure, how do you do it, and then such things as we've been practicing early on, counting. Counting, very important. Connection, so that you make sure that you are linked to the object. Contacting and fixing, so you stay with it. And some of those things that, like I was giving you similes, like they're like rice fields being wafted by air, or being a cave, exploring a cave. All those things, you fascinate the mind, or you make it feel like it's like a massage, or it's something very beautiful. Then it's easy. If you're forcing the mind, go get back like this, the mind will want to reel you away. But if you make it something pleasant to do, melt into it, and so on, all this helps.
Yeah, I like the rice field simile.
All those tiny hairs up there will be wafted.
And they're just swaying in the breeze and like breath.
And then it's something you just let happen. You don't sort of push the wind and force it like a laser to stay there, like it's going to get told off. Not this. You just observe the wind and it goes in. That's more that attitude. Just let it happen. Observe it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, because normally I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? Where's the air? Where's the movement? What?
Yeah.
But when you said like rice fields, like, oh yeah, I know that. Oh, there it is. There's a rice field. I can see it.
So then 16 ways of training in mindfulness of respiration. So like 16 whole tips. The 3 trainings, Sila Samadhi Panya, presume that means 2. The 4 foundations of mindfulness. So here we go, a good sort of stack of, this is like the Dhammanupassana. How does anapanasati link to the 4 foundations of mindfulness? Be interesting, it's a very old account of it. The 7 enlightenment factors, there are 4 active ones and 3 passive ones. The investigation So you're just investigating, like this is investigating. You're going to go, I get it. That's investigating. When you're interested, you're not just sort of staring out the window. You're investigating. You're mindful. You have energy and effort applied in your concentration. These are the 4 active ones, and then joy comes up, and then bliss comes up, and then equanimity comes up. These are the 7 factors of enlightenment. Mindfulness of death. It's just to think it's going to happen to me. You know, if you're aware of that, I said preciousness. You don't just waste the day. I'll stay in bed all day long today. No, like make use of the time. You know, we've got healthy bodies. We've got time. We're lucky. Some people out there are desperate for their life. They're in debt. Some people have just been told they've got 6 days to live, and then they're going to die by execution or something. We've got, use the time. Mindfulness of death. Or this is the other one, is to think, when I die, when I look back, am I going to be proud of what I see? So there's another way of doing it. It's not just only to frighten yourself about the presence of death, it's like to consider how to use your time valuably. Similes of foam, that's bubbling water. It's like life is like bubbling water. But the plantain trunk and bubble, same sort of thing, is like this brevity of life. Then mindfulness of body. 32 parts of the body, which is more like anatomy. Anatomy tends to be quite tidy, unzip, and here's the liver and the spleen and all that. So it's not quite so like repulsive as like seeing ugly bodies that are dead, like the drowned, bloated type. And then ways to get dispassionate about the body. The next one is the worms that rely on the body.
Parasites.
Yeah, parasites. They're all in there. So
seriously, they talk about parasites.
Yeah, you won't never want to hug someone again. Come, no, get over. Yeah. So we're often over enamoured and in love with the body and all the things about the body. That's because we don't really know it so well, like that. I remember my mum studying us up steak and kidney pie once. My dad said, "Do you know what the kidneys do?" And he told us all about what the kidneys do. Like they filter urine, something like that. It's like, oh, I don't really want to have a pie anymore. But it looked good before, nice and golden pastry and everything. So then bones of the body. So that's a recollection in itself. It's really to get aware that it's all in there.
Wow, that is.
Huh? Yeah, when you see someone crack their knuckles, like they really are, and there really is a skeleton in there. We don't always think about it. Or you see someone who's attractive, and they think, yeah, but look through. Look at the bone under there. And you see someone ugly, fat. They've got a skeleton. Actually, if you see the skeleton side by side, they look pretty much the same, probably. It's like
there's no place for romance in Theravada.
You can find plenty, Jatikas or something. I'm sure. The bones of the body, the impurity of the body. It's like see someone really excellently good looking. You can't believe it. Yeah, but how long ago since they had the toilet? And what was that like? And how long till they go again? And what's the impurity of the body? There's like undigested food in there, or how the saliva is in the morning, and all that kind of stuff. Wax in the ear, grease.
Worms in their bodies.
Zits. Huh?
Worms in their bodies.
Worms in their body. Yeah, they all got them. All your Leonardo DiCaprios and Angelina Jolie's. Yeah, everyone. Some diseases. So there you go. They're really getting it.
I really want you to get
beauty for there you go. Then the recollection of peace. This is just the benefits of the sublime benefits that can come out of all this. And then some miscellaneous teachings. So with that's up to, we've taken us up to chapter 8, section 5.
How many chapters in total?
I think I don't know. There's nothing quite as free, liberating as saying I don't know, is it? There's chapter 12 it goes up to. 12 chapters. Good, yeah. Okay, so we'll call it a day there, a night. Thank you very much. And we'll look further at the Vimutti Magga, what's in there in brief, and then we'll go in deeper week by week, step by step, and read about it and consider about it. So? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.